Hello, everyone. Welcome to my show that's hosted by Unique Voices in Films and The Path of Consciousness. This is segment 2 with my interview with Mr. Nabil Roumayah. Hello again.
Hello.
And this one is just going to be a little bit more fun. We're going to talk about the work that you've been doing. It's going to be more conversational. I really appreciate that you recently came to my film screening that took place last month. I love the words that you said. They meant the world to me. Actually, they moved everybody that was in the theater, by the way. Just your feedback just meant so much because not only have I known you for so long, but I know exactly where your heart is when it comes to our birthland, and so your feedback, your presence was much appreciated. Let's share. You've been writing quite a bit. Let me see if I can get the right... oops, hold on 1 second. I'm going to try to get the images right here. Okay. Is this your recent book?
This is one of my books. We were talking about how you trying to get this feeling out of your chest, how you want to become.
Oh, sorry. And this just came up. So is it okay if we watch this for a second? Okay. Is this? Can you explain what this is?
This is the book signing. The time that book you just showed. It was a book signing. I invited a few friends, but then I don't know where they from the place. What a beautiful, book signing. We had some program going, and I distributed about probably 200 books in that. We were signing.
What an accomplishment, by the way.
Was it?
What an accomplishment.
Yes,
I know I've
thank you.
interviewed you about the book before,
That's
and
it.
I know that was a lot of research into it.
The book, you see, that thing, what we do here, it affects people around us, right?
Yes.
But how many people? You affected 100,000 maybe, and then your achievement, what you did through your life, not only your personal life, but the people around us, all the people who are participating in this organization or activity and stuff like that. If we go, that effort's all gone with it. So I decided in the time of the COVID and a little after that, if something happened to all of us, what people gonna remember about us? What people are going to remember about our organization? What message we are leaving for our children, grandchildren, and the community? So I decided to basically document what we've been doing for the last 20 years. Like I said, we created that organization in 1980, Iraqi Democratic Union, and the other organization with it, the Mesopotamian for Art and Culture and all that. And I decided to document the events. I didn't write a story. I documented the event, why we were created, what was in our, documents, and what did we do, what events we made. So I wrote this book in 2 parts. I think it's about 1,300 pages with maybe 6,000 color picture. I printed it in Iraq. And I just wanted to give it to the people to see what we are. And the reaction was tremendous, was great. People did not believe what we done. I did not. When I was writing the book, I did not. I mean, I said, how many things we did, how many events we did, how many people we invited. And that book was sent to Iraq, to other places, and I used to get calls from Iraq, left and right. We didn't know you guys are doing so much in there. You're doing more than what we're doing back home. So I wrote it for 2 reasons. One, like I said, for the people to know what we are.
Yes.
And the second reason is like to leave it to the new future, for our children, grandchildren, new generation. Could be done those people did this, so let's carry the on and do the same thing. And it's working. I mean, I got a lot of references from that book, a lot of people calling me to include it in their PhD thesis, article,
Amazing.
thing. So it is a very, the only one actually, the only book which document activities in the
A lot of, like that, it's very
in this
detailed.
community. And I influence a lot of people to write. I have friends in California, they wrote books about their community.
Mm-hmm.
I have friends everywhere, they start writing, because writing is beautiful. And you know, when you get people to write, like I'm sure you would know that. I mean, you're a writer and you influence people.
Well, not just that. Like I know, I brought 3 of my Iraqi American series, and I remember, I know you're quoted in at least 2 of these.
Yeah.
Because you were one of the people that was the go-to person before you were publishing, before you published this book.
Yeah.
And by the way, you said about documenting events, and I think that's wonderful. But I've always been fascinated by your experience there. I felt like there's a lot of wisdom. There's a lot of things we don't get to see. One of the things, I know I quoted it in one of these books I wrote, The Iraqi Americans, the War Generation, Witnessing a Genocide and the Lives of the Artists. And in one of them, you shared about how when the new regime came in, they took out the dove. I'll never forget that story. It was so impressive.
It's amazing.
Yeah, can you share that story, please? Because I don't know where I have it, but I ended up even writing a children's book, and I added that story. So it is what you're doing aside from what you're writing, but the messages that you share and the stories that you share are very important as well. But do share it, please.
Yeah. Beside the books, I write articles. I have like probably 400 articles I write about different things, what I feel that day. I write about it, and most of it are published in that one book, but a lot of it are not. That little story, it happened in 1963. There was a little wall monument in one of the squares in Iraq. They call it Tayran, I think. And that door was like the uprising of the Iraqi people. You know, the children, the women, the farmers, the workers, the doctor. It was like, you know, it's a start from the bottom and goes up, and then the top of it, all these hands went up to hold doves, white doves. It's a beautiful message. So all these people work for the peace, because what's a dove? Dove is like a peaceful message. So that was a monument made by very famous artist. Anyway, so those guys, in 1963, those guys, they came in the bath. They didn't destroy the monument because it was like really valuable. But what they did, they took all the doves out. They unplugged the dove from the monument and they replaced them with nothing, just like a sky. So the message is all gone. I mean, what's the point of doing that? Why are you afraid of doves? Why are you afraid of peace? Those were the people mentality came into that time. We talk about other thing about books and things like that. They were anti-books. They were anti-education. They wanted the people to be close-minded and worship them only. There was another incident we talked about other time about they came into some neighborhood at 3 o'clock in the morning. We were hiding in a house next door. And they went into a house and they got 2 people out. That house was like a printing shop for some party or somebody. And they came out with the book Maxim Gorky's Mother. It's a very famous book. It's a classical art. You know, Maxim Gorky wrote Mother in that time. And those guys, the National Guard, came with the book. Oh, see what those criminals read. What's criminal read? We become criminal in our mind. We are not criminal, but the thing, the way you think make you criminal. The way you read make you criminal. So
this is, when you're talking right now, I'm wondering, so much is planted inside of us, the fear that you said. So even though I left when I was very young, I was 9 years old when I left, but at that point, already the fear had been stuck on me through various ways, including that, the first time I ever got slapped was by a principal because I missed Saddam's parade. And the next day, I was called in front of the whole entire school. Everybody was in the courtyard, and the principal stepped in front of everybody and said, "There's 2 girls that didn't come to Saddam's parade." And imagine being very young, and my parents didn't slap me for many reasons, but I think one of them is because I was one of the youngest. By then, it was like all my siblings were raising me. And the shame associated with calling you up front, the slap, I remember I passed out because out of the combination of the fear and the impact. And I'll never forget, more than anything, the hatred in the principal's face when she was looking down on me, asking me, "Why didn't you come to Saddam's parade?" So it left this impression where if you make a decision outside of the little box in any way, you will be reprimanded. As a writer, I went through a lot of years of healing to try to tell my stories, and I didn't know. I thought it was writer's block. It wasn't. It was fear. It was fear that was embedded from even before I was born, because the energy of that whole country carried that. Now, fast forward, and I really want to have an honest conversation about this part. I feel when it comes to arts and culture, someone like you, I can easily communicate with this. You saw my film. I loved the responses that you gave. But it was not for the very community that it was created and done for. And there was no response. And for me, when I look at this and think, wow, I gave all my time and energy. It took like 10 years almost to get it done, to push forward. And as all non-Arabs, non-Iraqis were watching this with awe, saying, "Oh, this is so great." That was not the same from the own. And now when you're saying this, it's kind of making sense that this is not something that we naturally grew up with.
It's courage. People lack courage. People lack to go out of the mainstream. Look at our community now, the Chaldean community, politically and otherwise. They are like a herd. They move like a herd. There's no individual. Once in a while you see an individual go against the herd, but everybody walks into the same aims. Whatever one group or whatever the church, whatever somebody says something, they don't go out. So your film was very courageous. It was amazing. The message was coming out of it was like a really courageous message. You tackle a subject which is taboo in our community. Nobody talks about it. Everybody knows about it. Everybody feels it, but nobody talks about it. You came and put it in their faces. They're not gonna react to you. They're not gonna react. They're afraid. They are afraid to be labeled differently than the herd. So I am
but
different.
You're
I'm not part of the
I was
herd.
gonna say you.
So
Yeah.
I reacted, but people would not. I wasn't surprised.
I think the most favorite thing that I heard is that when you said that you felt very proud that this would be seen, because I was saying that it's available in 25 countries, and you were so proud that something like that representing Iraq would be seen, because when you said that we all, when we came home and the next day, and my PR person, I was sharing mostly your responses, because all these years of working for it was for that. For your feedback was the heart of
that
why
should
I
have been the normal feedback. My feedback should be the normal. That my reaction should be the norm. Everybody else was like, say what they want. A lot of people in your show came to me after that and were talking to me. Oh yes, this and that, but nobody would say anything. And I understand our community a little better now, working with them all this year. They don't want to go out of the main.
But this is the way for us, and you understand this, so I'm just, that this is for us to change stereotypes and misconceptions. We come from the cradle of civilization. We have the right, we are so artistic. Do you know how many people submitted for auditions? I was shocked by the talent that's out there. Why aren't we using all of this talent? Right now, what you're doing, I'm grateful for what you're doing and others are trying to do with regards to Iraq, and I do pray that something will help continue that heritage there to where it's one day a touristic, they could make millions making this a tourist area. That's because right. Prophet Abraham, absolutely. Babylon, the whole world, everything came from there. So sometimes I see that vision and I say, that could happen. Why not? Anything is possible, right? But in the meantime, what we're doing is to change the perception so that people are aware. For instance, most people are saying, oh, we didn't even know that there's Chaldeans. Oh, they have one impression about how Muslim communities live, which Muslim communities, like the Christians, and as was shown in the movie, we have so much in common. There's so much love. There's so much humor. There's such beauty in our culture that we're not getting a chance to showcase to the entire world. And this is why I love the events that you do. And what do you, given your years in this area, what is something that you advise people to do that would help our community better realize the importance of what we're doing? Aside from the importance of self-expression as an individual, but there's an element that's even deeper than that. What advice would you give them?
There's no advice, really. We have to continue doing what we're doing. You and I and other people like that. We have to open up and tell them. I have a lot of friends from Dearborn. I go to Dearborn a lot to see with friends. We go to like coffee shops, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. We have a lot. People, when I talk about that once in like in our community, they look at me like, what I'm doing, how can you have a friend from Dearborn?
Oh.
It's ridiculous.
Silly, very
so
silly.
We'll move a little from that. I wrote another book, called My Journey Through Time.
Do we have
Yeah, we have a picture of it somewhere.
Oh, I don't know what this is.
Next
okay,
one.
we did.
Next one.
What is this one?
I'll talk about this
okay,
one.
after.
This one.
Okay.
Yeah, this one here.
Mm-hmm.
This one is memoirs about my life. Okay, so I wrote what happened since I was born in Iraq, and then this is like a parallel book. One is the event of Iraq, one is my life events, and I moved on from place to place.
Oops, I don't know that. Sorry, this keeps.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
So this is a memoir, history memoir,
mm-hmm.
and I wrote about all the events or stuff I've done in my life. Traveling from country to country, coming here. My point is, in this book, I encouraging everybody to write, because what we do when we write and when people read our books, the message is there, mm-hmm. black and white. They people learn from it, especially young generation. People like read those books and they react to it. They see, well, this is my grandpa, or this is my father, my cousin, my this and that did all this.
Yes.
So this is like a reflection, a little reflection of people. This is one way of answering your question.
I love that way.
Yeah.
You're inspiring by showing your talent, and automatically by me seeing what you're doing. That is the teaching in itself.
Do the same thing I am.
Yes.
And what I did, when people read about it, read your books and my books, they feel that this is not wrong. What those people, they encourage them to do what we did, because it's not wrong. It's not wrong to have a friend, a Muslim friend from Dearborn. It's not wrong to have a Jewish friend from whoever. In the Iraqi-Iran war, I had an Iranian friend in here. We are very, very close. In the 8 years of the war and city got blood, and we were a friend, and we used to go together everywhere. You know, he introduced me to his family, I introduced him to my family, and people were like, "How can you be friends with an Iranian?" Well, this Iranian doesn't want the war like me. You know?
We were able to look
this
into more the human aspect of the individual. You know, my best friend lived across the street. I mean, I was in a Muslim city, so my best friend was a Muslim, and her mom treated me like her daughter. My husband, he has a chat with all his buddies from college. He's the only Christian. They're all Muslim, and the first thing they do when they get on a call, you would think they're brothers. I mean, they cuss each other out. I said, when was the last time? He hasn't seen them in over 20 years or more. But then they have that love for each other. They call each other Christmas and Eid, you know, back and forth.
Things were different. I grew up in a house. My uncle used to live in a big family house. My uncle had two friends, a Jew and a Muslim. And those three, the Christian, the Jew, and Muslim, for as long as I remember, used to come to our house after work and drink arak every night, every single night, for like years and years and years.
It was so
those
normal.
Three was like nobody even thought about it. They were friends, you know. They were our parents, you know, like our uncles, all three of them, you know. So I mean, think different. Anyway, so writing, I encourage in this book, like for people to write. Every Iraqi, not I'm sure everybody else, but for Iraqi, every Iraqi who left the country has a story to tell.
Oh, incredible story to tell.
You walk out of this door and see an Iraqi you never met in your life, and tell him to tell you his story. He'll tell you a story.
Yes.
It's incredible, and I'm trying to get the community to start writing, to have an archive of our stories, and this archive could be very useful for the new generation, for Iraq and for in here. And like I said, I encourage a lot of people to write. I wrote more. My wife, Afaf, wrote a book because of me, you know, because of my influence. Wrote a book she called it recipe, something on recipe. So she wrote her story, part of it, and then she puts Iraqi story. Afaf, my wife.
What's the book's name?
The name is, what's the word?
I feel like I interviewed your wife. Did I interview her before?
No, you haven't.
Okay, I'll put her.
She was with me in.
Okay, then I'll put her on my list if she has the book. I'm going to put her.
Yeah.
Well, this is the best example. This is really, I have people that contact me after they see certain things and they'll say, I have a story. Everybody has a story, by the way.
But she wrote it. So
she had the discipline because it takes, this is work.
It's called memoirs and recipes.
Ah.
Memoirs. So
in Arabic or English?
In English.
Really?
Yeah. So she wrote her life, her growing up and stuff. Again, you know, the way we write, we don't write just about ourselves. We write parallel to events happening.
Yes, yes.
So she wrote like I did, events happening and her growing up.
I think all Iraqis have that habit. Even though I have this where I always bring something.
So many things happen in Iraq. You cannot separate your personality out of it.
No, and they're interesting things. They're very.
And then in the end of the book, she wrote recipes, like cooking recipes, because my kids love her cooking, and they keep asking her
if I would have known, honestly, I would have invited you guys both today, and we could have like done this back to back. But I'll have her as the next guest.
She has a beautiful story too.
But even with you, you know, our time is up. But I just want to say, I don't think that we should stop this conversation here. I think these conversations, it's not like you can count how many we are with our hands, how many writers or filmmakers and you know, these conversations need to continue. And I look forward to those opportunities where through your events or through other books that I'm sure that you'll publish and through your works, we continue our dialogue. I think this is very important.
We need an archive of stories, of our community stories.
We're creating them.
Yeah.
And we're doing well. Yeah. And I love that we're leaving on a positive note, I want to just say, like, if people want to participate or watch out for any of your events, where can they find you? I know you have a Facebook.
I'm on Facebook. We have sites on Facebook, on internet.
Just so
they'll-
look
they'll
up.
find us.
So should
Just
they
put
look Mesopotamian Forum or the Democratic Union, Iraqi Democratic?
either one or my name, Nabil Roumayah.
Nabil
I mean,
Roumayah. Look up Nabil Roumayah. He has very interesting things that he posts over there.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for coming today. This was a very delightful second interview, and I look for more in the future.
Thank you for the invite, and we need to talk more.
Yes, I totally agree with that. Thank you
you
everyone for watching, and have a wonderful day.
Thank you. And that's other book. I didn't talk about. No, that's why we went to Spain like this summer.